300 youth drawn from Kisumu will be attending the inaugural Youth and Leadership Summit, which aims to mentor young people against radicalization and violent extremism.
The summit is also expected to focus on inclusivity in the wake of expected trade surge in the western region prompted by the commissioning of the Kisumu port. Let's now get further details from Laura Otieno, our reporter live from Kisumu. Laura, it's good to see you. So about 300 young people, the irony of this, 300 young people will be at that conference. This is after the Kisumu port commissioning has been facing a few challenges, therefore affecting biashara within the region. Are young people hopeful that after this specific youth conference that solutions will come out of it?
Well, indeed, Zinzi, not only young people but also the stakeholders involved in the business community are hoping that the commissioning of that port will be bringing a new era in terms of an economic revolution within the lake region. Remember that thousands of people have been left jobless by those demolitions. The business community is estimating about 4,000 people having lost employment both directly and indirectly. And the summit today is basically trying to quell the rising concerns by residents, most of which are young people, on matters security and inclusivity within the region. I remember Kisumu has been one of the regions that has been fronted as the opposition strongholds, and therefore matters of development such as the setting up of the Kisumu port, a special economic zone and water view are viewed as very new things to the populace of Kisumu County and the greater western region. So today's summit aims to educate the youth on their role in development and how exactly they can benefit from the expected economic surge to be witnessed with the commissioning of that port and also various development projects. So maybe just to shed more light, I have the director for Pamoja for Transformation, Mr. Stephen. You say that this is the second phase of such a summit. What were the bottlenecks you experienced in the first summit which you expect to use as today's benchmark?
Thank you so much. Our first summit, which is in 2018, was premised around the post-election violence that we experienced in 2017. And of course, that was not the first one that we're experiencing in Kisumu County. And it concerned us because as citizens, we have meant well, we have engaged positively, we wanted to elect our leaders, and we wanted to be part of a governance process. Unfortunately, this has consistently worked against us, and we've been on the receiving end. And so the first phase was basically trying to look at how do we move forward in a sustainable way, in a constructive way, and in a manner that does not leave out our leaders, because quite often we are with them during the campaigns and then we are abandoned at that. But then that was not very easy because of the high levels of animosities following the 2017 election, which was by many instances the longest, the murkiest. But thank God for the handshake that came and kind of tilted the political landscape. And we are still not sure about the handshake and the prospects that it holds for us as a county, as a people. But what we see and we appreciate is that the political environment has been by far enabling, and there are very high levels of collaboration even between the county government, the national government, and the citizens enjoy a certain level of calmness and peace that has not been experienced before. And so it is these opportunities that we want to grab, that we engage in a very constructive manner with our leadership, that they can be able to account to us, but also we as citizens become accountable in terms of we also have constitutional mandate responsibilities to check and also be part of the development processes. So this opportunity is basically to interrogate that and then draw out certain action points that we need to continue engaging in, because governance, peace are all processes that are not, cannot be subjected to an event like this. Yeah.
Well, indeed, you have talked about peace and stability in the region as at now, and Kisumu has a perceived culture of violence, and the youth have been perceived to be the people that are fanning this fire. I mean, do you have a plan to incorporate youth to understand their role in development and leadership, or are you banking to just work with several leaders, or will you engage the youth all the way down to the grassroots level?
This is very much considered. If you look at the three thematic subjects for our conversation, there's a special theme that targets the youth, and also our projects have been largely about the youth transformation. As you may be aware, Kisumu has got three very strong, organized groups that are often available for hire and to execute crime and violence. Formerly, they were known as Baghdad for Peace, and then they became splinters, and we have the American, Marine, and we have the China Squad, the 42 Brothers. Most of these young people are walking a transformation path. They are part of our process. They are part of this development. Very many of them are present here today in this conference. People that would least be expected to sit with communities like we are converging here together. And so for us, the youth is a key stakeholder. They are part of this process, and we cannot leave them behind. Yes.
Well, thank you. Maybe one last question. People say there's no peace without justice, and we have recent a lot of demolitions in Kisumu County. 4,000 people have lost their jobs, and a majority are young people. Do you also work with legal partners to ensure that there's justice for these people, to ensure that at least, in as much as they'll be talking about peace, they have a place to fend for themselves?
Definitely, we agree that there is no peace without justice, there is no justice without peace. Whatever has been experienced, and this is also one of those indicators of how changed Kisumu has been. Citizens have accepted to move out of those places where these big government signature projects are supposed to be instituted. And because of previous conversations, they have been engaged, they have been involved, and they seem to appreciate that kind of approach, which was different. And so we are aware that the government has got different plans to make sure that they are located, because most of them occupied some of these public spaces without knowing. And so clearly government had to do whatever it needed to do with their land. And so this is being taken positively, and we are happy that the government has got at least some plans to make sure that people do not go without certain compensation. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Now, Sam, we are here. We'll be waiting to see what the thematic areas will be in this particular summit, and also how the youth will be sharing their views considering the justice and the legal process, especially in the wake of the demolitions witnessed here in Kisumu County. So, of course, it is a story that we will be keeping our eye on, and we will be bringing you up to speed with details as they unfold here in Kisumu.